Hello everyone, welcome to NT Defense Institute, daily 50 MCQ solving. So this is the second day. So let us start with the 50 MCQs. So the first question is the term polar in the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV signifies that. So here the answer is B. The PSLV satellites orbit the Earth from pole to pole. Yes, that is why it is called Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Yes. So India has SLV satellite launch vehicle, PSLV, and GSLV. Okay, these three types. So the PSLV is polar satellite launching vehicle. If this is the Earth, okay, so this is the North Pole and South Pole. The satellite will move like this. So it will go like this based on the sun. So that is why they say this PSLV is to launch satellites into the sun synchronous orbit. Sun synchronous orbit. Yes, mostly this PSLV is used to launch Earth observation satellite. Earth observation and remote sensing satellite. And remote sensing satellite. Yes. So whenever the sun illuminates the area where it want to do this remote sensing Earth observation, particularly India. So it goes via pole to pole. Yes. And this is used to launch around 600 to 900 kilometers altitude. Yes. And this PSLV, it is a 4-stage rocket propellant. 4-stage rocket. So simple, the main, so this is a satellite, it is in the name, satellite launching vehicle. It is a rocket, okay, with thrust and boosters. So it will simply give the thrust for the satellite to go, and it will place the satellite in the orbit. So this is the PSLV. Yes. So the PSLV satellite orbits from pole to pole. So mostly Earth observation satellite and remote sensing satellite will be launched. Whereas you take GSLV, it is geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. It has higher, more capacity than the PSLV. And yes, so this GSLV is used to launch at 36,000 kilometers. And this GSLV is used to launch communication satellites, GPS and all. Communication satellites for telecommunication purposes. Yes. And the recent one is GSLV Mark 3, Mark 2. GSLV Mark 2. So as I told you, PSLV is 4-stage rocket. This GSLV is 3-stage rocket. Here the first stage and the third stage is solid rocket propellant, and the second and the fourth is liquid propellant. So that's all with the PSLV. Answer is B. From pole to pole. Next question. With reference to growth of Sufi movement in the religious history of medieval India, consider the following statement. So Sufi, it is a sect. It is a different sect in Islamism. Within Islamism, the Sufism is a different sect. Yes. It is a soft version of Islamism. Soft. And it is concerned about devotion. Devotion and love. Devotion and love. It is a softer form. This Sufi originated in Persia. In Persia. Yes. You can see it rose in protest against the growing materialism of the caliphate. Yes. So the major part of Islamism is Shia and Sunni. Shia and Sunni. So both of this started to give materialism. Okay, materialism mostly with respect to the rituals and all other things. So it rose in against to that. So the first one is right. Yes, protest against the growing materialism of the caliphate. It is the Islamic headquarters, Mecca and Medina. Second one, Sufis were critical of the dogmatic interpretation of the Quran by the theologians. Yes. So dogmatic means whatever I say is right. Okay, that is called dogmatic interpretation. Whatever I say is right and your opinion is wrong. So that is called dogmatic interpretation. The Shia and Sunni started to have dogmatic representation. Whatever I say is right, whatever you follow is wrong with that. And they criticize this, saying no. The Quran has to be interpreted based on personal experience. According to them, okay, they have to interpret Quran based on personal experience and not by any one person. It has to be explained by the personal experience. So the second one is also right. And third one is Sufis of all order defied Sharia laws. No. They defy some Sharia laws, they modify some Sharia laws, but not all order defied the Sharia laws. The third one is wrong. So 1 and 2 is right. Simply, it is a softer form. Okay, their famous is Qualis. Qualis. Qawwali's is a traditional song of Sufis. Yes. You know, in the with the little the tabla thing, they used to have this song. And in Bajrang Mastani movie and all, you know, the mother of that child, okay, who can't able to speak, okay, she will take her to this Nizamuddin Auliya Chishti. It is a Sufi, you know, the Dargah system and all, it is related to Sufi only. They used to sing a song, Ali Mola, that song and all. So this is related to this Qawwalis, which is a soft song. It is a blend of Hindustani and Islamic tradition. So this is mainly attributed to Sufi. Okay, so this is a very soft form of Islam. So correct answer is A, 1 and 2. Second, which of the following states, okay, have regions of rainfall exceeding 200 centimeter as well as rainfall less than 50 centimeters? So greater than 200 centimeters and less than 50 centimeters. So whenever I say greater than 200 centimeters, it is tropical evergreen forest has to be there. Evergreen forest should be there. Whenever I say, you know, less than 50 centimeter, desert. Okay, desert will be there. Or thorn forest or desert forest should be there. So you see here where this can be seen. Here, okay, Maharashtra and Karnataka. Yes, Maharashtra. Why in the sense you can see in Maharashtra in Vidarbha region, thorn forest is there. Okay, very less rainfall. The central region of this region, it is a rain shadow region because it is in between Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Rain shadow region. Here they are asking in a same place, both region has to be there. Okay, regions rainfall exceeding 200 centimeters, it has to be there, and also rainfall less than 50 centimeters. This both regions should exist. In Rajasthan, less than 50 centimeter area is there, but no 200 centimeter area is there. Okay, in nowhere in Rajasthan the rainfall can be 200 centimeter. But you take Maharashtra, this Western Ghats, Maharashtra, this is Maharashtra, this Western area region. Okay, Bombay and all receives more than 200 centimeters because it is in the Western Ghats, Sahyadris. So here it is more than 200 centimeters. But this region, it is called Vidarbha. Vidarbha region, it is of full drought, less than 50 centimeters. So in Maharashtra, this region is like Rajasthan, no, and West Bengal, no. West Bengal, you cannot, okay, 200 centimeters area is there, but less than 50 centimeter area is not there. You take Karnataka, same. So this is the southern part. So the western part of Karnataka receives greater than 200 centimeter rainfall, whereas the central region, okay, not central region, is experience less than 50 centimeter rainfall. So both of this area, okay, extreme rainfall, okay, maximum and minimum, both exhibit in these two states, 1 and 4. So the answer is B, 1 and 4. Next, which of the following chemical pollutants is present in the photochemical smog? Yes, smog is smoke plus fog. Smoke plus fog is smog. Yes, in the Delhi and all, this photochemical smog is a major, you know, pollution thing. Okay, whenever the smoke, the black color smoke, you know, it mixes with the fog, pani, mist, it will form smog. So what is photochemical smog? When the sunlight in presence of some organic compounds, volatile organic compounds, volatile means easily evaporatable organic compounds. Okay, whenever the sunlight plus heat, okay, sunlight means obviously temperature, so sunlight plus smog plus heat, it mixes together, it gives rise to photochemical smog. Photochemical smog. Here you can see all 1, 2, 3 and 4 all are, okay, the components of the photochemical smog. Nitrogen oxides, it is from the vehicle, volatile organic compounds, VOCs, okay, it is also from the vehicular emission, ozone, and petroacetyl nitrites, it is in the petroleum. All, okay, all combinedly together, okay, with the presence of sunlight and heat, it forms this photochemical smog. So they are asking for the correct answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Recently, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCA, which is an important committee headed by Prime Minister, has approved the criteria for buffer stock for pulses. Which among the following is involved in the procurement? Here, all the three involved in the procurement. So the answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. So the Food Corporation of India, FCI, is the main procuring, okay, this organization. So from the farmers, it will procure and it will store it in the warehouse. And from the warehouse only for central government and also state government, okay, this ration shops, cooperative societies, PDS, public distribution system, they will give the food grains from the FCI warehouses only. Recently, the government, recently 1 or 2 years before, the government already given the NAFED, National Agriculture Cooperative Federation of India. NAFED is the apex marketing agency. Apex marketing agency of agriculture in India. And also SFAC, Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. Yes, it is also an organization. So it allowed all the three to procure as a buffer. Buffer means extra to observe any shock. If there is sudden, generally, during this November and this monsoon season, the onion prices and the tomato prices increases. Why? Because the monsoon failure and the excess monsoon will cause the destruction of this crop, and the supply, demand supply match will be there. So that is why the cost increases. Whenever there is buffer, whenever there is a shock, whenever there is a mismatch in demand and supply, from the buffer we can take it and we can supply it into the market. It will, reduce the increase in the prices. So the buffer stock for pulses, purple vehicle. So it has been allowed, and all the three can procure. So they will procure, they will say, store it in a warehouse. Whenever there is a supply demand mismatch, they will, release this excess buffer stock. Answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Consider the following features about an Indian painting. So they are given the options traditionally done by women folk on mud walls and painted, and now it is painted with cloth, handmade paper, and canvas. It is a main theme revolves around Hindu deities. Generally, empty spaces are filled with various motifs. Yes. So which are the following paintings is characterized by the above mentioned features? They are asking. Here, it is Mithila painting. So Mithila painting only given all these above attributes. So it is also called as Madhubani paintings. Madhubani painting. The Bihar region. The Bihar region. Yes. So this painting is in the Bihar region, and one region in Bihar is called as Mithila region. That is why it is called Mithila painting. It is also called as Madhubani painting. Yes. Initially the women folk only started. They started in their walls, and then later they started doing in cloth and hand paper and all. Yes. And it is theme revolved around Hindu deities, Krishna, Shiva, and Hindu mythology. Idihasa Puranam. Yes. And Kangra painting, it is in the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh and all north. Kalamkari painting, it is in Andhra. Because kalam means pen. Pen. It is a dotted painting. Dotted painting. So the Kalamkari painting is related to Andhra. And this Warli painting is Maharashtra. It is a tribal painting. Tribal painting. It is of Gond and Kol community. So these two are tribes. And this Warli painting is from Maharashtra. It is a tribal painting of Gond and Kol. Kalamkari painting Andhra, Mithila painting Bihar, and this Kangra painting Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. This northern region. So the answer here is B, Mithila or Madhubani painting. Next, which are the following are classified as the right to freedom of religion? So right to freedom of religion is given in Article 25 to 28. So see here you can see answer is C, 2 and 4. Only this and this. Why in the sense? You see the first one, prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion. It is Article 15. Yes, it is right to freedom. Right to equality. This comes under right to equality. It is not right to freedom of religion. And see the third one, protection of cultural minorities. It is Article 29. So this is about Article 15 and Article 29. Only this 2 and 4 is Article 25 and Article 26. Only this comes under right to freedom of religion. So answer is C, 2 and 4 only. They are asking for the correct answer. Answer the following government policies, acts. Which are the following initiative will improve the ease of doing business in India? Means which will aid the business ecosystem in the India, which will enhance or support the business ecosystem. You can see Shram Suvidha portal. It is a portal of Ministry of Labor and Employment. Why? It is for this inspection and submission of returns. It is a single point It is a single point website where the enforcement agency, for example, the labor ministry and the companies, they will come together and for inspection and for any other thing, they will interact with the enforcing agency. So it is a digital India initiative in the Ministry of Labor and Employment. So yes, it will aid the business environment because a single point website. If any issue, we can simply go to the website and we can enroll. So yes, it is arbitration and conciliation. It is a whenever there is any problem, okay, when the business disputes, okay, business nadula sanda varlam, okay, partners within partners. So they have to go to the court. This arbitration and conciliation, okay, it is like a other than this legal method, it is one of the legal method to resolve industrial disputes. So like Lok Adalat. So Lok Adalat, we all know, okay, legal justice, legal aid. Similarly, for businesses and all, arbitration and conciliation is a method of resolving the industrial disputes. So the second one is also right. So see, third one, retrospective taxes. Retrospective taxes means taxes considering the past also. Okay, whenever I ask a company to pay the taxes for the past 4 years or 5 years where I failed to collect, so that will not never aid a business company. Okay, so retrospective taxation, we have to give tax-free retrospection. So if I just ask the company to pay taxes for the past years also, the company will not be motivated to come to India and to come do business. So this retrospective taxation, it cannot be the initiative. So answer is B, 1 and 2 only. Retro means past. Retrospective means considering the past taxation as well. So it cannot be initiative to improve the ease of doing business. So 1 and 2, answer is B, 1 and 2. Next, which one of the following publishes Global Competitiveness Index? It is World Economic Forum, WEF. It is a private, like a NGO, okay, like a private organization. It lot of this World Economic Forum publishes lot of report. For example, Talent Competitiveness Index, Travel and Tourism Index, Global Environmental Index, Inclusive Development Index, Inclusive Development. So lot of indexes. You can go and search and read. Okay, lot of indexes this World Economic Forum releases. Also, Global Gender Gap Index. Gender Gap Index. It also releases this Global Gender Gap Index. Yes, Travel and Tourism Index, Global Environmental Performance Index, all these things. So here, answer is here, World Economic Forum. With reference to the Quit India movement, consider the following statement. Yes, so Quit India movement started in 1942. So, which was the reason to launch the Quit India movement? They are asking. The failure of Cruz mission. Yes, the Cruz proposal was not accepted. It came in India in 1942. Yes, first one is right. Popular discontent. Yes, the people started to hate the British government. They started to hate the British rule. Yes, rejection of Gandhi's 11-point demand by Lord Irwin. This happened during 1931, during the civil disobedience movement, not Quit India movement. Okay, Lord Irwin was there till 1931 only. Okay, after 1931, Lord Linlithgow came. Okay, it's Lord Linlithgow came. So the rejection of Gandhi's 11-point demand happened during civil disobedience movements and not during Quit India movement. So the third one is wrong. See the fourth one, Allied reverses and British withdrawal from Southeast Asia and Burma. Yes, but this is also one of the reason for the formation of Indian National Army by Raj Bihari Bose, Mohan Singh, and taken over leadership by Subhash Chandra Bose. They left the Indian people. Okay, the British withdrew from the Southeast Asia because of the threat from Japan. After that only, Mohan Singh, Raj Bihari Bose, they formed this Indian National Army. So fourth one is also right. They're asking for the correct one. The answer is 1, 2, and 4. Answer is B. 1, 2, and 4. Next, for income accounting, the domestic territory of the country includes which are the following. Whenever we are calculating the income, okay, which are the country includes which as a domestic territory, as our own country's territory. Here, you see the territory within the political frontiers, political borders of India. Yes, within the political border of India. Yes, oil and natural gas rigs. Okay, the offshore rigs. In the sea and all, they'll be having this oil plants operated by the country in international waters. Yes, it also comes under the domestic territory definition for income accounting. How much income the country get? See, the embassies of other countries located in its own territory. To take for example, in Nungamakam, in Mount Road and all, we can see the American embassy, US consulate. That area is not considered as an Indian area; it is considered as US soil. Okay, with whatever happens in the area, the Indian law and order cannot go and do anything inside that embassy. It is a control of that country. The same applies to Indian embassies and consulate in the other country as well. So third one is wrong. They're asking for the correct one. Answer is B, 1 and 2. Yes, embassies does not come under income accounting, even though it is present in our own country. Which of the following type of unemployment occurs mainly due to changes in technology and preferences? The answer is B, structural employment. So structural employment means there is employment force, but they are not employable. They are not that much skillful. Okay, the educational qualification is not necessary, and they don't have that much skill to get employed. So that is called a structural employment. See, there is changes in technology and preferences. So whenever automation, artificial intelligence technology, deep learning, machine learning, quantum computing and all, it has been increased, but the employing, that force, the employing people, they don't know that that specific technology, they will be unemployed. So the unemployment caused because of this lag of skill is called as structural employment. Cyclic is nothing but whenever there is a good economic growth, the unemployment is less. Okay, most of the people will be employed. Whenever there is economic recession, there is no economic development, unemployment rises. This is called cyclical employment. Frictional, whenever one person resigns a job and tries to join another job, that time lag between resigning one job and joining a new job is called frictional employment. Seasonal, to take agriculture. In agriculture, all 365 days there won't be no job. Only during the sowing season and only during the harvesting season only there will be job. So in the meantime, they will be employed. This is unemployed. This is called as seasonal unemployment. Agriculture specifically. So here answer is structural employment. B. Changes in technology and preferences. Next, with reference to Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, consider the following statement. FSSI. It is a nodal statutory agency responsible for regulation and supervision of food safety in India. Yes, first statement is right. Okay, this act is passed in 2006 and the organization was passed in 2011. So this organization is a statutory agency because it is created by law. Okay, yeah. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India Act of 2006, and it is created officially in 2011. And second, so it operates under the aegis of Indian Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. No, it is under Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is not under food processing industry. Second one is wrong. You see, the third one, it is involved in the procurement of food products under price support scheme. Okay, no. Procurement of food products. Okay, there is no link between procurement. It is only concerned about the safety and standard, whether it is a standard one, whether it it reaches that particular standard and all. That's it. Okay, no procurement of food, nothing. Okay, nothing of that sort. Only concerned about the standard of the food product. So the third one is wrong. They're asking for the correct one. The answer is A11. Satyagraha Sabha. So the Satyagraha was set up by Gandhi too. The answer is B. Okay, create a nationwide propaganda against Rowlatt Act. Okay, so the Rowlatt Act or Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Terrorism Act. This act was passed in 1990. Okay. So according to this act, this is also called as Black Act by Gandhi. Why Gandhi? So before that, Gandhi, Champaran Satyagraha, Ahmedabad mill strike, and also this Kheda Satyagraha, he did regional Satyagraha, but during this only, Gandhi started to do this all India Satyagraha. That is why this Rowlatt Satyagraha is called as first all India Satyagraha of Gandhi. First all India Satyagraha, to make it to the all India level, to make it appeal to the masses of the people, Gandhi started this Satyagraha Sabha. Answer is B, nationwide propaganda against Rowlatt Act. What was the reason for drafting Nehru report by the nationalists? Yes, in 1927, Simon Commission came to India. Simon Commission, but it is a all-white commission. All the 7 members of the Simon Commission, okay, all the 7 members, they are English people. No Indian were there. So what happened? Indians are protesting. Go back, Simon. Go back, Simon. So Lord Birkenhead, who is a Secretary of State, SOS, is a British MP. He challenged India. Okay, he was teasing India. Nakkala enna sonnarna, if you can't able, you can produce your own constitution. We are sending you a team to form your constitution, but you are not accepting them. அவ்வளோ உங்களுக்கு இருந்தா நீங்களே உங்களுக்கு வேணுன்றதை கிரியேட் பண்ணீங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நக்கல் பண்ணார். Okay, he just teased India. He thought that the Indians don't have capacity to create the constitution of their own. But the Nehru report, the Motilal Nehru report, it created a draft constitution in 1928. Yes, and the challenge was accepted, and they they shot back at Britain, and the Britain people are shocked. Okay, Indians have this much knowledge. They created their own constitution. Yes. So you see here, to raise the demands to boycott Simon legislation, no. It came as a reaction to the defeat of public safety bill, no. Brought to popularize adoption of Purna Swaraj, no. None of the above. In fact, no, all these are not the reason. It is the reason Lord Birkenhead, he challenged Indians. If you can able to do, you can do this. You can draft your own constitution. And the Indian National Congress and all other parties accepted this challenge. And as a challenge only, they have drafted this Nehru report. So that is the reason. So answer is D, none of them. Yes, consider the following. Which of the following are part of UNESCO's intangible heritage culture? So UNESCO, United Nations Education Social Council, and this organization maintains tangible and intangible heritage, cultural heritage. Tangible means the objects which you can able to touch and feel. That is called tangible. Any object, temple, anything that we can able to touch and feel. Intangible means we cannot able to touch it, but we can feel it. For example, okay, any song, air and all, it is called intangible thing. We can only feel it. We cannot able to touch it physically. So the UNESCO has a intangible culture heritage in India. So what are they asking? They have given 4 and they ask which one comes under that. Here, except this Bihu dance, all comes under, answer is C, all comes under this intangible heritage culture. Sankirtana, okay, it is from Manipur, about Lord Vishnu. They will sing a song. Kalbelia dance from Rajasthan. Okay, Rajasthan, where the women used to, with a gown, okay, with a colorful gown, they will rotate and the gown will flip, okay, rotate it like thing. Okay, it will be colorful to see. That is called as Kalbelia of Rajasthan. And Ramlila, it is a theatrical performance of Ramayana. So what are the other things under this yoga? Immutable, intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO. It is yoga, Mudiyettu, Raman, Chahu dance. So these are also comes under this UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list. Here, except Bihu dance, all the things. So Bihu dance is a traditional, tribal dance of Assam. Okay, this Bihu is a traditional tribal dance of Assam. The answer is C, 1, 3, and 4. Next, consider which of the following institution was installed in the westernmost part of Ashokan territory. It is A, Kandahar Pillar Edict. So the Ashokan Empire, okay, it was like this. Now only it is Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. At that time, there was no border. So this Afghan region, Kandahar, even this Kandahar, recently this was in news regarding Taliban issue. They showed resistance in Panjshir province in Kandahar region. Yes. So in Kandahar, it is a westernmost part of Ashoka's territory. Yes. Up to this, the territory of Ashoka was there. So answer is A, Kandahar Pillar, which is in present day Afghanistan. Which of the following statements are applicable to Jain doctrine, Jainism principle? Okay, you see, it believes that liberation can be obtained through full knowledge and action. Yes, Jainism and Buddhism both accept this. Okay, the liberation or salvation or moksha can be attained only through full knowledge and action by personal effort. First one is right. See, the second, it does not recognize the existence of God. It does not recognize the existence of Creator God. It says that, okay, generally we all believe that a God created all these things. They don't believe in Creator God, but they believe in this salvation or moksha God. So second statement is wrong. You see, third one, it condemns the Varna system. No. Buddhism only condemns the Varna system. The Jainism does not condemn the Varna system. The Jainism condemned only the, okay, this Varna discrimination. Caste discrimination only it condemned, but the caste system it does not condemn. Only the Buddhism condemn the caste system. Okay. Yes. So third is also wrong. They are asking for the correct answer. Answer is A, 1 only. So option 1, it believes that liberation can be obtained via full knowledge and action. A only is right. Next, with reference to the cabinet mission sent to India by the British government, consider the following steps. The cabinet mission was sent to India in 1946, and they are given 3 options. First, it upheld the unity of India and rejected the demand of separate Pakistan. Yes, okay, it rejected the demand of Pakistan, mind you. Only after this Mountbatten plan, the India was split. Okay, the Mountbatten plan only split India into India and Pakistan. In fact, the direct action day where violence happened, Okay, this Hera movie and all that violence they used to show. This violence happened because Muslim League called for this direct action day because the cabinet mission plan does not accept India and the separation of Pakistan. They strictly said no, no creation of Pakistan. Yes, the first statement is right. Second one, it recommended to set up directly elected constituent assembly. No, indirectly elected. Indirectly elected by means of PR, proportional representation from British provinces. So provinces, it is indirectly election by proportional representation. Princely states, it is nomination. So second is wrong. It is not directly, it is indirectly. You see the third one, it provided for a strong center dealing with the subjects of foreign affairs and defense and community. No, a common center, not a strong center. A common center to deal with foreign affairs, defense and communication. So the third one is also wrong. They're asking for the correct one. The answer is A, one only. Next, which are the following passages are correctly matched? So they have given the temple and the architecture style. Kailashnath temple of Kanchipuram, Chalukyan, no, it is Pallava style or Dravidian style. Dravidian or Dravida style. You see the second, Hoysalwara, Vesara, yes, the second one is right. The first one is wrong. The Kailashnath temple built by Narasimhavarman I, okay, of Pallava dynasty, it is of Dravidian style. Second, Hoysalwara temple, it is by Chalukya. So the Vesara style is also called as Chalukya style. Chalukya. Yes, the Hoysalwara is a Vesara style, or it is also called as Chalukya style, or it is also called as Deccan, okay, Deccan style. It has three names: Vesara, Chalukya, Deccan. Third one, see Braheshwara temple or Tanjai okay, Tanjai big temple. Yes, it is Dravida style. So they are asking for the correct answer. The answer is B, 2 and 3 1. Kailashnath temple is also Dravidian style, not Chalukyan style. Next one, Madan Mohan Malviya. He was associated with which of the following? All the four. Answers D, 1, 2 and 3. Yes, he only founded the Benares Hindu University. Very, very important. In fact, this Madan Mohan Malviya, M.M. Malviya, he only founded this, Benares Hindu University. He is the first education minister of India. Okay, in 1916. So he is associated with the Hindustan Times. Even now the present newspaper is there. HT. He was one of the member of this newspaper, and he is also part of Hindu Mahasabha, and he is also the part of Indian National Congress (INC). In fact, he was 4 times INC president. 4 times INC president. Yes. So answers D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next, with reference to India's culture and tradition, what is Pava Kuttu? So we can see Pava Kuttu. Kuttu means Teru Kuttu, that Kuttu. Okay, along the street they used to do this. Okay, theatre performance, that is called Kuttu. So here the C option is more relevant. See, it is an ancient form of puppet play performed in Kerala and also in Tamil Nadu. Okay, Teru Kuttu, it is called as Pava Kuttu. Okay, in both the Kerala and Tamil Nadu, this is performed. It is an ancient form of puppet play performed in Kerala and Tamil Nadu as well. As Pava Kuttu or Teru Kuttu. It is an Indian theatre form. Answer is C. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Brahmo Samaj? So Brahmo Samaj is created in 1928 by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who is considered as a father of Indian Renaissance. Yes. So what are the things? It opposed priesthood. Yes. He said that between God and human there should not be intermediary. Okay, because the priesthood dominated, the Brahminical domination happened. So he opposed the priesthood. Yes. Okay, no person should be between God and you. Only you should be communicating directly to the God. Second one, he opposed worship of idols, images, statues. Exactly. Okay, he was against idol worship. Second one is right. And you see the third, he opposed the doctrine of karma. No, he is still a Hindu. Okay, the Hinduism is based on this doctrine of karma. Whatever you do in your previous life, you get birth only based on what you done in your previous life. Yes, he is a Hindu who accepts karma, but he is against all the superstitious beliefs. Third one, no, he didn't oppose the doctrine of karma and transmigration of the soul, but he opposed the priesthood and also worship of idols. So 1 and 2 is right, 3 is wrong. The answer is B, 1 and 2 only. Next, with reference to depth of an earthquake, consider the following statement. Shallow focus earthquake are caused along the constructive plate boundaries. The constructive plate boundaries is also called as divergent plate boundary. So there are only three type of plate boundary. When two plate comes together, it is called convergent. When two plate, okay, go away from each other, it is called divergent or constructive. When two plate slide along each other like this, okay, like north and like south, it is called, okay, transboundary. So these are the three types of plate movement. You see, the shallow focus earthquakes are caused along the constructive plate boundaries. Yes, the first statement is right. Okay, whenever the earth, there is a split, so it goes down and it goes up. Suddenly, friction happen at this point. Okay, it spread the shock waves. This is how earthquake form, and this point is called as focus. Shallow means the depth is very low, 60. Okay, just 0 to 60 kilometers. Generally, it happens in the divergent boundary only. Okay, where it move away. So focus. So this point is called focus. So first one is right. Shallow focus earthquake caused along the divergent or constructive plate boundaries. Yes. Deep focus earthquakes are caused along the mid-oceanic ridges. No, it is wrong. It is not along the mid-oceanic ridges. It is along the circum-Pacific ring of fire. Ring of fire along the, okay, the circum-Pacific ring is including Indonesia, southeast of, okay, east coast of China, Japan east coast, Australia's east coast, Philippines, and also the west coast of USA, that circular region where Pacific Ocean borders, that is called a Pacific ring of fire. It is called ring of fire because it is earthquake prone zone, it is a convergent zone, and it is also where lot of volcanoes are present. Okay, that is why it is called ring of fire. The volcano erupts magma, lava, and fire. It is called circum-Pacific ring of fire. It happens in the ring of fire, not in the mid-oceanic ridge. So this is in Atlantic Ocean. Second statement is wrong. So asking for the correct answer is, okay, A1 only. Next, which of the following categories are included under protected area network? So protected area, PA, it is defined, okay, in the Wildlife Protection Act, WPA Act of 1972. According to the WPA Act of 1972, protected area includes 4 categories or 4 areas. All these 4 areas: wildlife sanctuary, conservation reserve, community reserve, and national park. All these comes under the protected area. It is defined, this protected area is defined under WPA Act, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. They're asking for the correct one. Answer is D. All the above: wildlife sanctuary, community reserve, conservation reserve, and national park. All comes under this protected area network in India. Answer is D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, which of the following statements are correct about mangroves? It can grow along the intertidal zone. What is intertidal zone? Sea and river. So whenever the area where the sea and the river met, this area is called as intertidal zone. Intertidal zone, where the river and sea meet. Yes, it grow along the intertidal zone in the tropical and the subtropical coastal region. Okay, in the warm region. They both tropical and subtropical, warm climate will be there. So first statement is right. You see, second one, east coast of India has more mangrove cover than the west coast of India. Yes, because, okay, the east coast river, you take Ganga, okay, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, all are east coast river. They brought huge deposits, fertile deposits, fertile. When these fertile deposits, okay, they come and they mingle, this area will have a lot of nutrients, and the deposits is fertile and it has a lot of nutrients. It will help the growth of mangroves. But you see the western coast, even though there are a lot of rivers, they don't have these deposits. That is why in eastern coast we can see a lot of delta, Mahanadi delta, Godavari delta, Krishna delta, Kaveri delta. But in the left side we cannot see any delta because there will be no deposits. Yes, the second, that is why the largest mangroves in India. First largest is Sundarbans. It is at the delta of Ganga. The second largest is Bhitarkanika. It is in Ganga River delta, and this is in Mahanadi River delta. Mahanadi and Baitrani and Brahmani, Bhitarkanika. So these two largest mangroves in India is in the east coast. So the Sundarbans is in West Bengal and Bhitarkanika is in Odisha. Second is also right. So answer is C, both 1 and 2. Even in Tamil Nadu, okay, in the Pulicat Lake and also in the Pondicherry and all, you can see in famous Pichavaram in Kadalur, Chidambaram. Pichavaram is also a mangrove. Yes, Kaveri Basin. Consider the following statement about ecotone. Yes. So what is ecotone? To take two ecosystem. Okay, this is land ecosystem, grassland. You take this as grassland, and you take this as okay marine ecosystem, marine or sea. Okay. Between this grassland and marine, there will be one ecosystem which is called mangrove or marsh or swamp. Marsh or swamp. Okay, for example, mangrove. You go and see mangrove, it has characteristics of both. Okay, it is not fully marine ecosystem and it is not fully land ecosystem. It is in between the two. It has characteristics of both. You can see plants and flowers. Okay, you can see a lot of plant growth. Okay, Sadupu Nilam, they say. Okay, you can see plants and also you can see water. So it has characteristics of both. A ecosystem which is in transition or transforming from one ecosystem to another ecosystem, that is called as ecotone. So a famous example is mangrove. So mangrove is not fully marine, fulla thanni irukadu, fulla plants irukku, rendume irukku. It has both water as well as both plants. And you know this ecotone is this one of the fertile and productive region. Fertile and productive. Yes. You see that first statement, ecotone refers to the population of different kinds of organisms living together and sharing the same. No, it is called ecosystem. Ecotone, I told you, transition. Okay, when a particular area is in transition between one ecosystem to another ecosystem, it is called ecotone. First statement is wrong. You see, second one, ecotones are the areas of high biodiversity. Yes, I told you it is area of fertile region and high productivity region. That is why you can find more fertile and high biodiversity area in this region. Second statement is right. They are asking for the correct answer is B, 2 only. Next, from the point of view of evolution of living organism, which one of the following is the correct sequence of evolution? Yes. Here you can see it is A, catfish, tortoise, otter, and kiwi. So catfish is a fish, and then gradually it evolved into tortoise, and then it gradually evolved into otter. Otter means sea dove, kadal nai, and then gradually into kiwi. Okay, it is a flightless bird. Flightless bird. It is found in New Zealand. Kiwi. Okay, like penguin, it cannot able to fly. That is why it is called flightless bird. Kiwi. So this is the evolution. So the answer is A. Catfish, tortoise, otter, and kiwi. Next, you are walking along the McMahon line from west to east. So there again. So what is McMahon line? So this is India. This is Arunachal Pradesh, AP. This blue line that I have drawn is the McMahon line. This line is in fact disputed between India and China. That is why China claims a lot of this area. Okay, Arunachal Pradesh. In fact, you go and see the map of China. Arunachal Pradesh comes under China, but officially it is under India. Okay, the India and China claims this region. According to the McMahon line, okay, the area under this region comes under India. Actually, the Arunachal Pradesh is now in India. So this line is called as McMahon line. Arunachal Pradesh region. Now you see. If you jump back to the Indian side, you will find yourself in Sikkim. You see here, Sikkim is here. Okay, this is not Sikkim, but we are in Arunachal Pradesh. So if you come back, okay, if you jump to Indian side, it will be Arunachal Pradesh and not Sikkim. The first statement is wrong. Second, you see the latitude passing from your location will cut through the Nagaland and Rajasthan. So this is how the latitude passes like this. You see here, yes, it cuts to Rajasthan, but Nagaland is here. It does not cut through Nagaland. It cuts through Arunachal Pradesh. Second statement is also wrong. You see the third one. At the end of your journey, you may end up in Myanmar. Yes. So this is the line. You end up here. So what is the area here? Myanmar. The end of Arunachal Pradesh is Myanmar, the northeast border. Yes, you may end up in Myanmar. Third one is right. So they're asking for the correct one. The answer is D. 3 only. Yes, McMahon line. Answer is 3. Yes, consider the following. And which are the above responsible for depletion of ozone? So ozone depleting substance, ODS, they say. Which among the following is a ozone depleting substance, they are asking. Yes. And above all this thing, except this hydrofluorocarbon, HFC, all are ozone depleting substances. Chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, hydrofluorochlorofluor, HCFC, halogens and bromines. All are ozone depleting substances. Yes. In fact, this HCFC is a greenhouse gas. What happened? Ozone and greenhouse gases are different. Okay, ozone depleting substance and greenhouse gases. So what happened? In substitute of this hydrochlorofluorocarbon, they started to use this hydrofluorocarbon, HFC. No problem, everything was going fine. But what happened? Later only they realized, even though it is not a ozone depleting substances, it started to increase the greenhouse effect because it is a greenhouse gas. So only, okay, the Montreal Protocol. This protocol is famous for ozone depleting substances, ODS, to face the ozone depleting substances. It is one of the successful protocol. And a substitute protocol has been given, which is called Kigali Agreement. Kigali Agreement. According to this Kigali Agreement, okay, it is a substitute to Montreal. We have to phase out HFC as well, hydrofluorocarbon as well, by 2040. Gradually, we have to reduce the usage. They have announced. So the Montreal and Kigali, they are both related to this HFC. This HFC, Kigali, other thing, Montreal Protocol. So except the two, all other thing are ozone depleting substances. So answer is D, 1, 3, and 4. Next. With regard to convertibility of currency, consider the following. When I say convertibility, it means, okay, when an American person comes here, he converts the dollar into the rupee. And when Indian goes to America, he converts the rupee into dollar. This is called as rupee convertibility. Consider the following statement. There are only two types of convertibility: capital convertibility, capital account convertibility, and current account convertibility. What is capital account? What is current account? Simple. Current account means import and export of goods and services. For example, the American comes to India for tourism. He converts the dollar into rupee, and the Indian goes to America. He converts the dollar into rupee. Okay, rupee into dollar for health and tourism and education purpose. That is called current account. Current account convertibility is 100%. India allows full current account convertibility. Full. It means okay, maximum you can convert fully. But what is capital account convertibility means? Capital account means loan and investment. For example, you take the same American and same Indian. American come to India to invest in India. Okay, so he convert the dollar into rupee, but that convertibility is not full, it is partial. Very, very, very important. Partial convertibility. You may ask, sir, why, sir? For current account convertibility, fully is allowed. Why capital account only partial? Imagine, okay, American comes to India whenever the Indian market is very good. So he convert full convertibility is there. So what happened? Fully, okay. For example, 100 crore, okay, 100 or $10,000 he come, okay, he come and invest. Only $5,000 he can able to convert into Indian rupee. Fine. So he converted. But imagine suddenly, okay, the Indian market started to go down. He will pull back the money immediately. If I say full convertibility, it means not only getting money into the economy, but he can take the money out of the economy. Whenever I say full convertibility. So what happens whenever a sudden economic problem is there, he take the money abruptly and go. At the time, it will also cut even more hurt. For that purpose only, investments and loan, which comes under the capital account convertibility is only partial, not full. So the current account convertibility is full and capital account convertibility is partial. 40, 60, not full, but it is 100%. Now you come to the statement here. If the capital account is fully convertible, imports and exporters are allowed to free conversion of rupee. Imports and exporters, okay, it is related to current account and not capital account. First statement is wrong. You see, second, capital account of India is fully convertible. No, only partial. You see, current account only fully convertible. Second statement is wrong. India is planning to achieve fully convertible current account in the next 5 years. Already it is fully convertible current account. India is planning to achieve fully convertible capital account. Capital account fully convertible try but the situation is not good as of now. Third one is also wrong. They're asking for the correct one. The answer is D, none. See, next one, with regard to taxation, consider the following taxation. Progressive taxes reduce incidence. So progressive, three types of taxation systems: progressive, regressive, and proportional. Progressive means high income, high tax. Regressive means high income, less tax. Proportional means whatever the income, okay, you have to pay a particular amount of taxes, a particular amount, like 100 rupees. Here, with respect to your income, your tax will increase. Here, with respect to your income, your tax will decrease. But here, whatever your income, you have to pay a particular sum. That is called proportional. For example, you take income tax, you take. Any taxation system should be progressive. If I earn 1 lakh, I have to pay 10,000 rupees as tax. If I earn 10,000 rupees, I have to pay 500 or 1,000 rupees as tax. Yes, good. Progressive taxation is good. No problem. Income tax is a progressive taxation. Okay, so whenever you get high income, you have to pay high tax. Low income, low tax. Good. Regressive means whenever you get high income, you pay low tax. For example, you take indirect taxes. You take petrol, VAT and all, VAT in petrol. Okay, a person is earning 1 lakh rupee per month. For him, he pay 5,000 rupees for petrol. It's not a big deal. Okay, because 5,000 rupees in 1 lakh is very meager amount. And you take, for example, a person earning 20,000 rupees per month. For him, the same 5,000 rupees, because a person with a BMW car and a person with a Swift car or a person with Alto car, both are getting petrol as the same price. So for him, 5,000 rupees is a big deal. You see, it is 1/2, 25% of his salary. So what it says, whenever a person income is high, the tax is less, and whenever the person income is low, the tax is high. So this is called as regressive taxes. Proportional, whatever the income, a particular amount of tax has to be paid. When you come here, progressive taxes reduce the incidence of taxes on people with lower income. Yes, because lower income people, they only pay low tax. High income people, they pay high tax. Progressive tax. Yes, first one is right. This is second one. In case of proportional taxation, the tax rate increases the income. No, the tax rate is fixed. Whatever the income is, okay, particular amount, the tax rate is fixed. The second statement is wrong. You see the third one, the sales tax on food is an example of regressive tax. Why? Because imagine you go to another bond, same concept. 1 lakh, a person is earning 1 lakh rupees, and food 1 lakh. A person who is earning 1 lakh rupees and also a person who is earning 20,000 rupees, both of them will pay same amount, pay particular food, but for him it is not a problem. 1 lakh rupee person. But for a 20,000 rupees person, yes, it is a problem, and it is a regressive tax. Yes. Here, not only food, petrol, and all other, food items, essential items, it is a regressive taxation system. So answer is D, 1 and 3. Okay, 1 and 3 is the right answer. They're asking for the correct one. Next, which are the following component of calculating human development index? So HDI, okay, is calculated by 3 things. Life expectancy is birth, yes. Mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, yes. So health, education, and standard of living. Standard of living. Health, yes. Life expectancy of birth. Education, yes. Mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling. Standard of living is calculated by gross national income per capita. Gross national income. But you see here, gross national product they have given. Wrong. It is GNI, not GNP. GNP means gross national product, but it is GNI, gross national income. The third one is wrong. All the remaining two are right. So they're asking for the correct one. The answer is B1 and 2. Life expectancy of birth, mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, and gross national income per capita. Answer is B1 and 2. Next, which among the following measures are likely to reduce inflation in the economy? Reduce inflation. So inflation, we all know, a continuous, a sustained increase in the price level is called as inflation. Simple. When inflation happens, in a sense, whenever there is demand supply mismatch, demand and supply mismatch, or whenever there is high money supply in the economy. Money supply, which means whenever there is high purchasing capacity of the person. For example, when I have, imagine, generally I am having 10,000 rupees, okay, 20,000 rupees as my salary. Okay, the next month I will be having 25,000. What I will do? I will spend extra 5,000. So I will go and buy new goods. When I buy new goods, the demand of that good increase. When the demand of that good increase, the supply also increases. It creates an inflation. Whenever a product's demand is increased, obviously the price is increased. This price rise is called as inflation. And you see here, you just see the third one, increasing wages. When I told you just now, 20,000 rupees, I am getting 25,000 rupees. So it means increase in the wages or increase in the salary. When my salary increases, my purchasing capacity increases. When my purchasing capacity increases, I buy more. I have more money. I told you, whenever there is more money in the economy, it is always a problem. Okay, we will buy more. High money supply will be there. It causes inflation. They are asking reducing inflation. Obviously, increasing wages cannot reduce inflation. It will only increase inflation. The third statement is wrong. So obviously, the 1 and 2 is right. Yes. Remove the levy obligations in respect of imported materials. So you reduce a levy or excess tax on the import material, the cost will be reduced. So the price will be reduced. Inflation will be reduced. First statement is right. You see second one, ban export of constrained material. Yes. So when you ban the export, okay, we don't need to import. So obviously the price level will come down. Yes, 1 and 2. Answer is B1 and 2. Next, which are the following negatively affects the exchange rate of the country? I told you exchange rate, $1 is equal to 73 rupee. This is called as exchange price. Okay, exchange rate. Exchange rate. So this exchange rate is based on market forces. Okay, based on the market forces. Here they are asking negatively 2, 3, and 4. Whenever Indian exports is increased, okay, they will in demand of Indian currency. Imagine India and USA are doing this, this economical transaction, and USA people started to increase the import of Indian goods. So how we will pay back to Indians? By means of Indian rupee. So they need Indian rupee to pay the Indian goods. At the time, what happened? They will go and search for Indian rupee. Whenever the demand of the Indian rupee increases. Whenever the demand of Indian rupee increases, it is called as appreciation, strengthening of currency. Whenever demand of Indian currencies decrease, it is called depreciation. பண மதிப்பிழப்பீடு. இது பண மதிப்பு உயருதல், இது பண மதிப்பு இழப்பீடு. Okay. Whenever there is increase in export, okay, it will positively affect the exchange rate. Appreciation will happen. So they are asking for negative effect now. But whenever there is increase in imports, yes. Lower interest rates, yes. Higher inflation rate, yes. So it will negatively affect the exchange rate of the domestic currency. The answer is 2, 3, and 4. Answer is B. Next. Which are the following regarding the territorial limits of legislative powers vested in center and state? Yes. The Constitution does not restrict the Parliament to make law for the whole or any part of the territory. No. Okay. In some part, for example, the Northeast state. Northeast. Schedule 5 and scheduled area and tribal area. Okay. There The state legislature is very powerful, not the parliament. They can even say the parliamentary law will not applicable to this area. So they given any part. I told you, whenever there is an extreme weather statement comes, it is always wrong. Not always, mostly wrong. So no. In Northeast and Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 area, okay, the state legislature is very powerful, or not the parliament. So the constitution do restrict the parliament. The first statement is wrong. You see the second one, the parliament alone can make laws applicable on Indian citizens and their property in any part of the world. Yes. Whenever Indian is staying abroad, NRI, non-resident Indian, he will be administered by the parliamentary law and not the state law. Second one is right, absolutely. The third one, the laws made by the state legislature are not applicable outside state in any condition. Again, any word is named, no. In some cases, it is also applicable. Okay, for example, Pondicherry, tomorrow the central government can say some laws of Tamil Nadu can applicable to Pondicherry as well. Under any, okay, so obviously it is external statement, it is wrong. So answer, they are asking for the correct answer. Answer is 2. C, 2 only. Consider the following statement. In case of interstate water dispute, Parliament may provide that neither the Supreme Court nor the any other court can access jurisdiction. Yes, the first statement is right. Okay, in case of interstate water dispute, okay, between Kaveri and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court can say Parliament should not interfere. Yes, they can say. First one, right. And second one, Interstate Water Disputes Act of 1956 empowers the Parliament to set up an ad hoc tribunal for adjudication of disputes. Yes, they can set up a separate tribunal. So that is why Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, CWDT. Okay, it has been appointed. Okay, yes, they can. Parliament can set up. This act has been recently in 2019. Okay, this act has been repealed in 2019. So both the statements are right, both 1 and 2. Yes, Parliament can set up a tribunal. And a classic example is Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, CWDT. Both are right. Answer is C. Which of the following statement is not correct? You see here, after the expiry of term, governor may be reappointed in the same state or any other state. Yes, no, any cap. Governor can be appointed any number of time, reappointed. The oath of office of the governor is administered by Chief Justice of the concerned High Court. Yes. The governor does not possess diplomatic, military, and emergency power. Yes. The governor appoints and removes the chairman members. No. The governor appoints the chairman members of the State Public Service Commission, SPSC, but removal only by president. Very, very important. Okay. The State Public Service Commission, it is a constitutional body. The members and chairman are appointed by governor, but removal can be done only by the president, not by the governor. So the option D is wrong. All the other options are right. They're asking for the not correct ones. Answer is D. Next, with reference to biological oxygen demand in an aquatic system, consider the following. So BOD. BOD means amount of dissolved oxygen. Amount of dissolved oxygen, or DO. Okay. Amount of dissolved oxygen required by a microorganism, okay, to decompose the organic material in the water. Okay, for example, a fish dies. How much of oxygen is required by the microbes and other bacteria to decompose that fish? Because for decomposition, oxygen is needed. That is called as biological oxygen demand. Okay, so this biological oxygen, based on this only, the pollution level is found out. Okay, whenever I say the BOD is higher, it means the water is more polluted, because okay, lot of oxygen is needed because lot number of organic death has happened. So one fish, okay, there is a single fish died, and we need to, we need oxygen to decompose that fish, then less BOD is needed. But imagine 100 fishes die. So it means whenever 100 fishes die, what happens? The water is obviously polluted. So whenever the BOD is high, the biological oxygen demand is high, the water is highly polluted. We can find out from that. Now we come here. BOD is the amount of oxygen required for the respiration of all aquatic animals. No, it has nothing to do with respiration. It is for decomposition of organic matter in the water. So BOD has nothing to do with respiration. First statement is wrong. You see, higher the BOD, lower is the pollution level. No, higher the BOD, you see here, higher the BOD, higher is the pollution, not lower. Second statement is also wrong. So they are asking for the correct answer is D, neither or not. Next, which of the following definitely indicates a chemical change? The answer is none, because you see, change in state, change in color, evolution of gas, change in temperature, all are physical changes. physical changes, state, color, everything and all. Okay, chemical is different. Okay, in the main nature characteristics of the when it changes, it is only called chemical changes. So all are physical changes are not chemical changes. So answer is D, none. Consider the following properties of carbon nanofibers. Nano means 10 power minus 9. Okay, 9, that is called nano. So the particles which is in the 10 power minus 9 mm size is called as nanomaterials. They exhibit a different property. Okay, they exhibit high performance property. What are those? Graphene from graphite. The nanomaterial of graphite is graphene. It is made of carbon. They are used in carbon nanofibers. Yes, this graphene is a very important material. In fact, the graphene is nearly 200 times the strength of steel. Okay, 200 times strength of steel. This graphene and nanomaterial is the future. Okay, nanotechnology and nanomaterial is the future. Second, carbon dioxide can be used to make nanofibers. Yes, it has carbon. They are using electric components and batteries. Yes, it has vast applications. Which is the correct? And they are asking for answers D, 1, 2, and 3. All are right. Okay, carbon, nanofibers, nanomaterials, nanotechnology is the future, mind you. Next, transistor is used to. So transistor amplify or switch electronic signals and electric power. So the transistor will amplify electronic signal. Okay, disturbed signal, it will amplify, it gives a powerful signal. So what is the thing that regulates the fluctuation of voltage? It is stabilizer. We all have, for TV, fridge, washing machine and all, which convert the direct current to alternating current, DC to AC, inverter, power inverter or inverter. So which reduce the resistance in electric circuit? Resistor. So A is transistor, B is stabilizer, C is inverter, and D is resistor. Answer is A. Rainbows are shaped as arcs and not straight lines. So you can see rainbow. So you see rainbow like this. In fact, the rainbow, it look like this whenever you have seen halo. This. So why the rainbows are shaped as arcs and not straight lines? Answer is C. There is a set of points in the sky where the sun, cloud, and the eye form the same angle. The angle is 42 degrees. Okay, 42 degrees. The rainbow, the eye reflect the rainbow in 42 degree. That is why, and also same degree by sun, cloud also. It is like a semicircular arc, but actually it is a full circle, but it appears as semicircle to us. Yes. Answer is C, 42 degrees. Next, consider the following states. Which of the above states have tropical dry evergreen forest? Answer is C, 2 only. Okay, you take this one, Tamil Nadu. Okay, you take the specific map of Tamil Nadu. Sorry. Answer is Tamil Nadu only. Tropical dry evergreen forest. So what is a tropical dry evergreen forest? So Tamil Nadu look like this. What happened? This area, this region. This region is the tropical dry evergreen forest. Why? In the sense, the southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. During both the monsoons, this area, because it is projected outwards, this region receives rainfall in both the monsoons. So that is why it has been wet always. That is why the evergreen forest happens. But it is not as wet as Western Ghats. Adanalna it is called as tropical dry evergreen forest or Deccan evergreen forest. In fact, this is present in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Puducherry. From north of Andhra, including Chennai, till Nagapattinam. This forest is there, tropical dry evergreen forest. So it is in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Puducherry. Madhya Pradesh, no. So in both Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, tropical deciduous forest is there. Tropical wet deciduous forest is there. So answer is C, 2 only. Yes. Which are the following pairs as incorrectly matched? They ask. So drainage pattern they have given. So here, except this 3, all are correctly matched. So answer is okay 3 only. So they are asking for the incorrect one only. So there are different patterns. Dendritic means okay branches of tree. So the drainage pattern, you go and see the Ganga river, it looks like branches of tree. Yamuna, okay, Gagara, Ganda, Kasi, Son, Ken, Betwa, Chambal, Ken, Son, like that. So it looks like a tree branch Ganga. So whenever a river pattern looks like a tree, branches of a tree, it is called dendritic. Radial means from a mountain, okay, outward it goes. So the top line it originates from one point and it go via all the direction. It is called radial. Yes, radial is Amarkantak Hills and parallel the Western Coast region. Yes, parallel. So all are right except this annular. Third one is wrong. So answer is C, 3 only. Next, consider the following rivers. Which among the tributaries merge with the Brahmaputra in India? Here, except this Teesta, both this river okay merge in. So these both rivers are in Assam. They are tributaries of Brahmaputra. They merge with the Brahmaputra in India. But Teesta river flows through West Bengal and also Sikkim, but it merges with Brahmaputra in Bangladesh, not in India. Teesta merge, அதாவது அந்த ரிவர் வந்து போயிட்டு ஜாயின் பண்றது பாத்தீங்கன்னா it is with Bangladesh, in Bangladesh only. So they are asking for the tributaries merge with Brahmaputra in India. Only Manas and Subansiri. So answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Next, the special provision of Article 371B of the Constitution is related to, here it is related to Assam. Okay, 371B is related to Assam. A. Next, the sales tax you pay while purchasing a newspaper is okay. It is actually a tax levied and collected by the center, but assigned to the states. Yes, the newspaper, the tax collected by the newspaper is levied by the center, collected by the center, but after collecting, it will be assigned to the states. Answer is C. Newspaper. Next, consider the following rights. Which among the human rights under the Universal Declaration of UNDHR, or it is also called as Paris Principle? India has a signatory to this United Nations UN Declaration of Human Rights. Yes. And which among the rights under the UNDHR are part of the fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution? Except this right to property, all are. Okay, both right to education, Article 21A, and right to freedom of peaceful assembly, Article 19. Article 19. Both are part of this UNDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, except right to property. As of now, right to property is not a fundamental right, it is a legal constitutional right at Article 300A. So the answer is C, 1 and 3 only. Next, consider the following statement about corals. Yes. They live in symbiotic relationship with algae. Yes, the algae zooxanthellae. Okay, the coral are marine animals, are marine polyps. They join with this algae. That is called symbiotic relationship. Mutual beneficial relationship is called a symbiotic relationship. And the zooxanthellae, it will stick to the polyp. Okay, beautiful. Coral, like a tree branches, it will be like this. Calcium, made of calcium. So the zooxanthellae will come and it will stick to it like this. It will do the photosynthesis. Okay, and it will appear, okay, it will do this photosynthesis and it will appear fresh. Okay, colorful. So these corals are liked by fishes. The fish will build their home, okay, and all the the fishes and all small organisms, they will come and they will make the corals as their home. Yes, that is why coral ecosystem has high diversity ecosystem, highly productive. Yes, they live in symbiotic relationship. They mostly thrive in warm tropical oceans. Yes, and cold water corals are also there. Cold water corals. Okay, even in cold water corals thrive, but mostly it is in tropical oceans. Yes, second one is right. Western water provide favorable condition for their growth. No. Okay, no, only eastern. Okay, not the western coastal waters. Because why? In the sense, generally you take any country, west, you take India, western east. In western area, cold water upwelling will be there. Cold water current will be there. In east, warm water current will be there. To take any country. Okay, in the eastern part, warm current will be there, and the western part, cold current will be. You take, for example, USA. In this region, okay, you can see the California current. It is a cold current. In this region, you can see the North Atlantic drift and Gulf Stream. Gulf Stream. It is a warm current. Yes. In warm current only, the corals thrive well. It is a favorable condition. So the third one is wrong. Here it should be eastern, not western. You see the fourth one, they have low genetic diversity and are vulnerable to climate. Yes, very exactly. It is called as coral bleaching. The fourth one is right. Coral bleaching. So what is coral bleaching? So bleach means whenever there is a color, when you remove the color, it is called bleaching. Yes, I told you the zooxanthellae, it will stick to it and it will give the color to the coral. So whenever, as long as the coral is very colorful, it means it is okay in a good condition. What happens? This climatic condition increase the temperature, increase the acidity of the ocean. So it causes a zooxanthellae algae to die. The zooxanthellae will die. What happens? The color will glow. So the colorful coral will appear as white color, transparent color. So this is called as coral bleaching. This coral bleaching is the main impact of this climate change, climatic conditions. And it is a serious environmental issue. So asking for the correct one, 1, 2, and 4. Answer is C. 1, 2, and 4. So that's it, the second day. So let us come up with the next set of 50 questions with the diverse topics in the next day MCQ session. Thank you.